Hello everybody, I'm Chris Bottger and welcome back to another album review. Today I'm going to be looking at Christopher Cross's 1979 debut album, Christopher Cross. Christopher Cross is generally considered to be a watershed album for yacht rock, and it was a really big hit back in the day. I really don't find anything too impressive in the backings of the songs on this album, but the instrumentation here really does take a back seat to lyrics and vocals. Christopher Cross performs admirably as the lead of this album. His voice isn't the world's best, but he seems to know what kinds of songs it does and does not work for, something which he turns to his advantage time and time again. Now, before we start the song-by-song breakdown, the way these videos work is that I will break this album down song by song before finally giving my final thoughts and ranking of the album. I would like to encourage everyone to bear with my ramblings and watch the whole video, as I do have a lot to say. Say You'll Be Mine is a standard love song, albeit one that is delivered pretty well. You've got the basic elements of the album down here, a standard love song with good percussion but an otherwise pretty standard backing. This song also begins Christopher Cross's over-reliance on backing vocalists. In this case, a large role in the song is assigned to Nicolette Lawson, perhaps best known these days for her collaborations with Neil Young around this time. The song is certainly better for it, and the voices work well together, but I can't help but feel that Christopher Cross made a mistake in making this the first track on his debut album. It feels like he is playing second fiddle on what should really be his big entrance. I Really Don't Know Anymore is a song in which Cross asks himself a series of rhetorical questions about love and then in the chorus says he really doesn't know anymore. The main highlight of this song is Michael McDonald's response vocals on the chorus. While McDonald does have a better voice than Cross, I do think the roles here matched up a bit better than Cross and Lawson were on the previous track. Michael McDonald manages to punctuate Cross here without overpowering him, something that helps Cross's style of soft yacht rock voice sound more impressive as opposed to less so. While I feel the production of this song isn't quite as good as on the previous track, mainly due to the weaker percussion here, I will say that the guitar solo on the song is better. While both songs use their solos in a rather formulaic way, they do help to add a little bit of energy that would otherwise be much lacking in this style of song. Spinning is yet another song which prominently features another singer alongside Cross. This makes us now 3 for 3 in the guest star department. In this song, Christopher Cross sings a duet with singer Valerie Carter. I'm not a huge fan of her voice, and unlike the previous tracks, I think if anything this song would be better if it was sung by Christopher Cross on his own. Spinning's lyrics are, shall we say, not great. A song with this title should be one of confusion in the midst of whirlwind romance, but what Cross has given us is some form of highly concentrated soap. While I am assured that this is an important development that will considerably lower manufacturing costs for sleep aids, it still leaves an awful lot to be desired in the energy department. This is to say nothing of the backing, which sounds suspiciously like a stunted version of Steely Dan's Ricky Don't Lose That Number. And what is the upside here? There's no good song hidden in Spinning, because there is no real song to it at all. Never Be the Same gets the album back on track. It heralds the return of the energy the previous song was sorely lacking, and the lyrics here, while a pretty standard breakup song, were effective enough. The tempo is good, and there's a decent guitar solo in there too. Never Be the Same is also the first song of the album where Cross really sings on his own without using another vocalist as a crutch. I think this more confident, independent approach works better for him, especially considering this is his debut album. While Cross isn't the best vocalist to ever live, he sounds good here, like he is in full control of this song. This isn't a very emotional delivery for a breakup song, but Cross performs admirably and avoids being overwrought, something which his voice probably would not pair well with. Poor Shirley starts off a bit overwrought with a generic string section, but when it starts going in earnest, the song rolls along pretty well. Here, Christopher Cross has cooked up some sort of love is a battlefield style metaphor about love and war. While the metaphor usage is a bit unwieldy, I appreciate the growing variety of the songwriting here, especially compared to more lackluster tracks on the album. Poor Shirley also has a pretty good chorus to boot, making this one of the better songs of the album. Now, before we go on to side 2 of the album, I will remind you that if you like this style of album review, to please like this video by hitting the thumbs up button below, and say you'll be mine by hitting the subscribe button, as this helps me out a lot. For Wide Like the Wind, we see Christopher Cross take a break from the love songs of side 1 and branch out to a different topic. This song is about the single being on the run from the law and needing to make his way out of the country to evade capture. The lyrics here are good, the energy is high, and the song flows well. Cross's lead vocal, while perhaps not gritty enough for his character, is cool and confident, and his lead is once again punctuated by backing vocals from Michael McDonald on the chorus. This pairing worked well on I Really Don't Know, and works even better on Wide Like the Wind. The instrumentation here is also some of the strongest on the album, with the guitar solo being played by Christopher Cross himself, as opposed to a stereo guitarist like on the album's power tracks. The part with the harmony scatting is also very memorable, and works well in conjunction with the other elements of the song. Wide Like the Wind is a song that represents Christopher Cross at his best, from the vocals, lyrics, and production to the guitar solo and overall energy of the track. The Light Is On is a song I really don't understand. If poor Shirley's metaphor was unwieldy, then the lyrics to The Light Is On are impenetrable. That said, I think I can kind of catch a vibe that the lyrics were going for, which is good. Still, I wouldn't say this is a standout track from the album. The production is standard, and the chorus features overproduced backing vocals. Apparently Don Henley from the Eagles is in here somewhere, but I really can't tell under all the thick layers of sugary glaze. Sailing is another song on which Christopher Cross departs from the standard lovey-dovey fare and is better for it. The lyrics are about the escapist joy that Cross finds in sailing. While the backing is very soft, like lush satin-covered down pillow levels of soft, this works well in conjunction with the hypnotic tranquility of the lyrics and Christopher Cross's, as ever, cool and collected voice. Minstrel Gigolo is a song about, well, exactly what the title says. It's never overt or whatever, but it seems to be some sort of wishful thinking about a singer who can woo any woman. I think maybe this song was just some sort of wet dream on Cross's part, because I really don't know how to explain it otherwise. Other than a saxophone at the end, there wasn't too much to say about the backing, other than it is slightly hauled off in the album's several songs, although that really isn't saying much. This is a strange note to end the album on, although I guess Christopher Cross did somehow manage to succeed in manifesting himself into the role of a popular ladies' man musician. Dreams really do come true sometimes. Alright, that wraps it up for the song-by-song breakdown. For my final reviews of the songs, I give Say You'll Be Mine, 6 out of 10. I Really Don't Know Anymore, 6 out of 10. Spinning, 2 out of 10. Never Be the Same, 6 out of 10. Poor Shirley, 6 out of 10. Wide Like the Wind, 7 out of 10. The Light Is On, 4 out of 10. Sailing, 7 out of 10. Minstrel Gigolo, 4 out of 10. Christopher Cross features mostly very sweet songs. Despite this, the best moments we get from Cross are when he branches out from romance and women and talks about tranquility, like on Sailing, or adds in a dash of danger with songs like Wide Like the Wind. That's not to say Cross can't write decent songs on the subject of romance. Songs like Never Be the Same and Poor Shirley are good, if not overly memorable songs on the topic of romance. Despite this, Christopher Cross also has some real stinkers on it. Spinning is awful, and songs like The Light Is On and Minstrel Gigolo have their few merits outweighed by significant drawbacks. I also have to question the choices made when putting this together as a track listing. Cross plays Sick-It Fiddle on the album opener, something which should have been a grand entrance for him and his talent, especially since this is his debut. The album's last song is one of the worst songs on the LP, and really should not have been the last impression people are left with after listening. The album is shaky and quite often drifts into sounding like a barrage of overly sweet background music. Still, if you're in the right mood, you can tune in and then tune back out of it and have a good time. There's nothing here that really gives off any sort of rush of adrenaline, or even mild goosebumps, but perhaps that is for the best. There are quite a few downsides to this album, but quite a few upsides as well. Ultimately, I feel the good barely outweighs the bad. Despite several bad tracks and poor utilization of the album format, there are several good album tracks here, and the two big hits from the album, Wide Like the Wind and Sailing, are both killer songs in their own way. Overall, I'm giving this album a 5 out of 10 because it is decent, but does not go any further beyond that. Unless you really are a big fan of yacht rock, I would say get the singles and skip the album, as it is pretty underwhelming. Okay, and now before we end off, I do, as always, want to look at the sleeve and packaging of the album. So, here we've got the front. A very nice drawing of a flamingo. Now, against this kind of textured, it's not really textured, it's just an image, but it's printed. But it looks textured. A textured green background, kind of a dark green. And of course, you have Crystal Cross's name up here on white. I really do like this round thing within the flamingo. I really like the water effect. I really like the way that looks. I really like the dark green as well. On the back, you have the dark green and the round thing again, and in it, this time is a picture of like a bay. I really like that too. I think the drawing is quite nice. I think the drawings, both of the drawings, both this and the flamingo, look really good. I also really like the color of dark green that they use. So, also, this album came with a printed liner. It is dark green with white text. The contrast on here was pretty good. You can actually read the text on like some liners. I do like the dark green. It doesn't actually quite match the dark green on the sleeve. I just noticed that. See, it's a little bit lighter. But yeah. Record, not too much to say for it. It's on the Warner Brothers label. So yeah. I do really like the packaging of this album, actually. I really like the front and back covers. I really do especially like the flamingo and the water kind of ripple down there at his leg. So I think that looks really good, actually. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. That helps me out a great deal. And also subscribe. That also helps me out quite a bit. And I would like to thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it.